Hey, folks. Welcome to Delinquent Studios once again. And once again, here we are at the Delinquent Podcast. Now, I'm not sure if I may have put the Delinquent Podcast or just podcast, but it's official. I may have to change the other one to Delinquent Podcast, but it's all the same. Delinquent Podcast. Let's get that shine out of the way, folks, if we can. All right, there we go. I think that hopefully should help it. All right. Well, folks, what are we waiting on? What are we sitting here waiting on when we just need to go ahead and get started here? But once again, as you've seen on the thumbnail, I got my own little tray, and it's basically it's the preferred wrap that I use, which I still believe achieves what people are looking for. So do what you must. But if you want to make it easy on yourself, just do this. You feel much better, I tell you. Trust me, you feel much better about it. At any rate, we're sitting here watching a little Family Guy. This is the podcast, man. This is nothing serious here. We're just talking about some things. Wow. But you know what? Here's one thing about what's fun about the podcast. About the podcast, we can do anything. So why not give you a preview of what originally, that was the original idea that I had. That was going to be called the Mainframe Media Buffet, where essentially the idea is we'll just go to different modes of communication, media, things like that. Different modes of media, social media, things like that, and see what may be trending, and just try to sample it. See what things we might want to talk about, see what things we might want to avoid or whatever. Who knows? But anyway, let's take a sample of that right now. Let's go. Actually, since we're doing, let's just do this. Let's start at home. Since we're doing a YouTube podcast, why don't we see what's trending right now? Oh, wow. Pompeo blames Iran for tanker attacks. Okay. So we're still trying to get at that Iran thing again, folks. I mean, through hella high water, folks, by hook or by crook, we are going to get to Iran somehow, huh? Let's see. Laura Trump says Biden doesn't have anything to show for his 50 years in politics. Wow. Fox being Fox then, folks. All right. David Ortiz's wife speaks out as more suspects taken into custody. Over the shooting. Dominican Republican investigators say that the 6 suspects, some of whom may have U.S. connections, were offered nearly $8,000 to target the Red Sox legend. $8,000. Wow, really? See, folks, that's why people, you have to realize, if nothing else, folks, you got to realize that if you could be, you don't even have to be, look, folks, you could be regular schmegular American, and somebody will kidnap you. Simply for Americans or the government to give money up, and whatnot. So we'll see here. 1 second. Do apologize. Just a moment. Hello. Hey, got your text, and as soon as I'm done, I'll be right up there to you. Yeah. Yes, it is. All right, folks. Apologize about that. Just having a little fun. Well, just basically had to take a call. Very important one, folks. So we'll be wrapping this up pretty shortly. I just want to take some time. Want to keep the content going out there, folks. So once again, just not being afraid. What is this about? What is this whole thing about here? Um, it's just about, freedom. It's Friday now. Friday. Why did I? Friday. Think about it. But anyway, for those of you who already know why does it make sense to do the podcast on Friday and not at 4:20? Because some of you sticklers may wonder, hey, last time you did this show, you did it at 4:20, which is cool. But that's why it's not the 4:20 podcast, because sometimes life, work dictates the way you can't quite be here at 4:20 to do the 4:20 podcast. I mean, I could try every once in a while just to make it fun. But for those of you who still may not know quite yet, why did I do Friday? Because Friday, the classic movie by Ice Cube, starring Ice Cube and Chris Rock. See, that's a high moment, folks. We go right to Chris Rock instead of Chris Tucker. And I do apologize. That's a high moment there, folks. But Chris Tucker, also Tiny, Tim Lister, also John Witherspoon, also Anna Marie Horsford. Let me think here. I want to get all those people out, give them their shout outs, because they had a lot in Black Hollywood, in Black actors. They've meant a lot out there. Let me see. Forget who I forget who Mr. Johnson was. But he's a little guy, little person that's out there, been out there for a long time. You've seen him on Martin and things like that. So very cool, very cool coming together of a lot of actors. Faison Love is another one. Definitely, like, you may have seen when he sent some goons after Smokey and Craig. One of those guys was Dub C in the mix. Probably a couple other guys from the West Side Connection or Lynch Mob combined, possibly. Never know. Of course, how can we forget, Regina King? How can we forget LaWanda Page of Sanford and Son fame and like that? So there's a lot of people who contributed, small parts, no matter what. There's a lot of people who contributed to making that movie a classic. Not just a cult classic, but just a classic in the way of movies, man. It's just one of those great things. And as far as us, as far as the 420 crowd, a great classic and definitely in the way of the Cheech and Chong, definitely in the way of Harold and Kumar, definitely in the way of, I will say, I will put Pineapple Express. It's funny. It's good. It's funny. I would even go to The Night Before. It's a holiday movie, but it's also a great weed movie. Now, there's some other drugs that came into play, but essentially, that's at the how high. We can keep going. It goes in that great pantheon of movies there. So definitely. So except not, of course, not How High 2. That one is out. Is out. Doesn't even deserve, when you put somebody in the movie that doesn't actually smoke weed, it doesn't deserve me watching the movie. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. Because all I'll see is somebody who really doesn't smoke weed making fun of people who do. Bottom line. But let's see. Like I said, just watching a little bit of TV. Let's see. Are we going back to the buffet here? Let's see. I'm going to try some other buffet. We tried some stuff. Let's see. Anything a little more interesting? Okay, now this is interesting. That even as death toll rises, the Ebola death toll rises in Uganda, The World Health Organization says there's no evidence that it's spreading. Interesting. But at least they're showing evidence that nothing's being done to stave any of the fucking tide. But anyway, the Congolese Health Ministry says another child has died of Ebola, bringing the death toll to 3 within the same family that had traveled from Congo to Uganda. The 3-year-old boy has died as well as he was being brought to Congo for medical treatment. His 5-year-old brother and their grandmother already had died from the disease. The children's mother and father, along with an infant sibling, are still battling the disease, which has left more than 1,400 people dead since August. The victims contracted Ebola from the children's grandfather, a pastor who died in late May. Yet the World Health Organization says there's no evidence Ebola is spreading within Uganda after the deadly virus crossed the border from Congo this week. Now, folks, I want to take a moment here because, of course, it's the podcast. So we can pretty much talk and do whatever we want. So while I'm giving a little preview of the mainframe media buffet, how it works, by the way, that's just a little sample there. But anyway, now you see how I just did that there? You know, people can say I'm wasting time here. So while I'm wasting time here doing this, whatever, I'll waste a little bit more time. I'll waste a little bit more time by explaining, the importance of why I am reading straight from the book, Behold a Pale Horse from William Cooper. Like, you see how I just did that? Now, if I wanted to give you some real information from what's going on from people who are actually there, because I'm not in the Congo, nor am I in Uganda, you might want to hear what some people are saying that were there and that are there, and conflicting information and reports. I may not have all that to give you, so I can read that to you from this. That's what people do. They read scripts. When you're doing a bit, you might want to read from a script that's being pre-prepared. You'll read from that. You may not see them reading from it, but they're reading. That's what they do. Somebody's doing karaoke. They don't know the words to the song, but they're just challenging themselves to do a certain karaoke song that might be a little funny or embarrassing. We read from the lyrics that are there, just in case we don't know the words to the song. We want to try to get it right. This is what you do. So that's why. So if nothing, but a simplified answer, a little bit of a simplified reason, that's the reason why, I'm doing that. But even someone such as myself, who's had that book for many years and who can probably break down the bulk of the information, right off the top of my head, honestly, from chapter to chapter. But I can sit here and tell you, see, the thing is, what you're going to see, what some people are going to see is an African-American man, a black man, whatever. They're going to see me here saying it in a way of conspiracy towards black people. Conspiracy, this is what's happening to us. This is what's happening. And I can say certain things, and I can assure you, I'm not just saying it about us, but that's what people are going to see. And that's what people are going to feel like I'm speaking to. So with me reading from the book and reading exactly what his words were put down into this book published so many decades ago, it shows you right there. And it tells you right there how the family's being attacked, how poor, not just poor blacks, not just poor whites, not just poor Asians, Latinos, anything, poor everybody. The people who do not have the bloodline, do not have the money line, the name, who have not been able to gain a certain position in life and then be willing to give themselves over to the agenda of these people behind the curtains. Those things, if you're not a part of any of those connections, then you're not seen as the people that are important enough to regard and warrant a quality education, a quality way of living. So that's how that works. So again, I want you to know from a person who is, non-minority, who could have lived a life that I want you to hear his words. I want you to be able to hear his words coming from me and know that it's coming directly from William Cooper. I'm not paraphrasing it. I'm not, I'm not making it sound the way that I wanted to sound to appease my area, my people, my whatever. You're hearing it directly from there. And then it is also not something that he's made to say, I'm right, you're wrong. It's about black people. They're all about black people. No, it's all about Poor people, no war but the class war. Once again, like I always say, folks, he may be the modern godfather of anarchy, to be quite honest with you. He was a man who truly went out there, didn't, went off the grid, didn't pay taxes, did his shows, did his shows in a way that he could not be tracked. Lived off, lived off, off the radar for so many years, and then they found a way to attack him, folks. So it almost becomes a situation of you can try that, you can try to do it, but they'll figure out a way to try to get at you. So you have to weave your plan through the modern times and figure out a way to live as free as you can as a modern anarchist, or just a person who wants to live free, even if you don't want to prescribe to anarchy, just living free. So, but anyway, folks, let's go so that's why I read from the book, folks, because it's important to get the accurate word for word information from a historic book such as this. And I want to make sure that you know that the ideas, the words, the information is coming directly from a person who is non-minority, who was in naval intelligence, who could have lived a life being completely out of the way, maybe even get himself in a position of power or influence and just retired and kick back and let the world fry, never informing anyone of anything. He could have just let it all happen, let it all go down, never tell anybody what he saw, never researched anything, and then the world would probably be a lot worse off because of it. So he sacrificed so much of himself for somewhat betterment, more information, a more informed public. Let's see, NBA Finals, let's get away from that. But there's a Superman Year One trailer on YouTube DC. So those of you guys who may follow DC Comics on YouTube, they're giving you a trailer of a possible new a new graphic novel. Okay, co-creator Kick-Ass has something to do with this. There is no justice without truth. Wow, reacting here, reacting. It looks good. These look good, Frank Miller. I mean, wow. It might be something to be said, man. I think a new revolution is coming out in the comic world, and I think it might be a new world to maybe hustle up some money, write for some comics. I mean, that would be fun. I never really wanted to be a part of a person's magazine or anything like that because I never felt like I could really write the way that I wanted to write. But with comics, graphic novels, and things like that, you could possibly get out there and really be able to open up and really show your range, you know. But that was a great one there. Let's see. Let's see. Wow. Okay. Under hot new hip hop, by the way, I want to give the credit because we don't want to try to steal things or scoop things, or I'm not here for that. This is about a creative, space here, no holds barred. So we're going to be just talking about things and having fun. But I don't want to play anybody out or act like this is all me. I'm finding this stuff out, whatever. Hot new hip hop reports on Google. Eminem backed up his masters prior to destructive universal fire. Eminem was said to have been affected by the massive 2008 fire, but he, of course, man, smart guy. Of course, he's going to back up his stuff. Of course, he's going to make sure he's good. I mean, it's his stuff. That's the one. I mean, when you're a guy who knows you write your own shit, who knows you're in charge of a lot of the shit that goes on with your music, no fucking way you're not going to make sure that it's good. So, so that you have your stuff to fall back on. Of course. You can license this or sell that, who knows, Okay, Chrome can display websites in dark mode if you want it to. Sexy. It is sexy. Let's see. Anything else here? Let's see. Any more stories? Is any more stories here? Should I just be lighting up again? And of course, this is a podcast. What the hell am I doing? Anyway, since we do a lot of taking, and doing things, let's just say I may just wait good until the end of end of this blunt here, and then we'll end the show. So we'll get through this for as long as it takes for me to do this. Oops. Did I do that? Did I incorporate that idea? Yeah, I did. I did that. Totally did that. Totally did it because, you know, no one's creative enough to do it themselves. So, hey, why not the rebel? Why not the revolutionary over here? Why not the guy who takes the risk that no one else wants to take? Why not? Oh, well, this is interesting. Now, this is my kind of, whew, this is my kind of sports report. Masai Ujiri. It don't take long. Woo. It don't take long, folks. Masai Ujiri, the great heralded executive that was given a lot of the credit for getting the Raptors and ultimately helping and ultimately winning the finals. Now, let's see. Brian Windhorst details an incident in which Raptors president of basketball operations, Masai Ujiri, made contact with an officer while trying to get on the court. Was investigating the Alameda County Sheriff's Office investigating Toronto Raptors president of basketball operations, Masai Ujiri, suspicion of misdemeanor battery on a police officer. The alleged incident occurred Thursday night on the floor at Oracle Arena in Oakland, California, after the Raptors beat the Golden State Warriors to win the NBA title, and Ujiri tried to join the team on the floor. He was stopped by a deputy. Mr. Ujiri was unknown to the deputy at the time. The deputy, asked him for a credential, says Sergeant Ray Kelly, a spokesman for the sheriff's office. He shoved the deputy out of the way and walked toward the court. The deputy pushed back. The president came forward with a more significant push and ended up striking the deputy in the face. The NBC Bay Area posted a video of the aftermath of the incident late Thursday night, but it does not show what happened first. The sheriff's office is gathering information on what occurred, talking to witnesses and members of the security team, as well as gathering available video, Kelly said Friday. Now, let me just stop right there. Let me just stop you right there. Okay? I gotta be real. People, let me just stop this right here. This is why the media buffet is gonna be fun. So folks, just stay tuned for Mainframe Media Buffet on, on Mainframe Media, because it's just fun. Like, you never know what you might run into. This is why the buffet. This is why I thought about it, and it's gonna be fun because you just never know what you might run into. Now, let me just stop right there. I'm not gonna read any more of that because I'm gonna say this right off the top. If you're at a basketball game and running like sort of security around the area, and you don't know who these people are, especially when you talk about this is not just, this is the finals, okay? This is the finals. This guy's going onto the court. I mean, come on, you don't know who the president of basketball operations is after all this time. It just stinks to me of a little bit of sour grapes, where, get credentials, trying to play him. How you going to play this guy? Really? None of the other fans are trying to run onto the court. This is a guy looking good in a suit, trying to get onto the court, and you're stopping him to see some credentials. Really, folks? Come on, folks. Come on. I will say, that maybe he should have got maybe security of his own to kind of step in and let him know, hey, officer, this is the president of basketball operations. What are you doing? This is the president of basketball. Don't y'all know that? Maybe they could have did that. That's what I'm thinking. But who can say, man? That's interesting. I really do think, though, honestly, your security, I think that's one of the things you have to know. Know who all the people are. You don't have to, so that way you don't have to ask credentials. It's not, come on, are you serious? Nah, that's BS. And I think once you realize that it was the president of basketball operations and you're still choosing to file charges, I think, come on, man. That's just you being real petty at that moment. Two guys are going at it and getting into it. Come on now. Don't play games. Don't play games. But it's just, that's about the best way I can put that. Let's see what else we can find. That was interesting. That was hella interesting. We'll see what goes on. Mm. Oh wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. So folks, GameSpot as a Batman Superman #1 puts a horrifying new spin on an already terrifying Robin. The Batman Who Laughs army of monstrous boy wonders okay. Yeah, so folks, those of you who don't know, there is as of course, that's the one creative thing, and I would love to be a part of that. And I would just dream of creating what kind of world could I create? One of the many multiverses and many Batmans. That, so what could I make up? What could I create? What could I if they gave me a certain Batman or Joker, what could I work off of that? But one of the more popular ones in the new alternate universes of Batman is the the Batman Who Laughs, which is a uh, a very, very unique, sinister, but deadly sharp, combination of Batman and the Joker. It's creepy. It's creepy, but it's badass. I mean, what else can you say? But let's see. Maybe we can get into that. But let's see if we got anything else here. Hmm. Okay. I think we might want to pay attention to Dreamville, to J. Cole in Dreamville. He's building himself quite quite a situation right now, folks. J. Cole is going to become a problem. It seems like the older this guy gets, it seems like he's just becoming more and more of a problem for this industry, and a positive problem for us. I definitely give him a lot of credit on that, man. Let's see. But let's just read on that a little bit. I think, did we do any music? But let's just try to do some music here. Down bad, okay. Okay, the song features J. Cole, JL, excuse me, JID, Bass Young Nudie, and Earth Gang. Dreamville Records' new compilation album, Revenge of the Dreamers 3, drops soon, and label treated fans to the first two songs from the upcoming project today with Got Me and Down Bad. In May, Atlanta lyricist JID first gave fans a snippet of Down Bad during his set at Miami's Rolling Loud Festival. It's produced by Grammy Award winning producer Plus and includes high-profile appearances from J. Cole, you meet Boss, Earth Gang, and Young Nudie. The song's underlying beat is highly reminiscent of Rebel Without a Pause, the 1987 song by Public Enemy. However, a rep for Dreamville clarified in a statement to Genius that it is not a direct sample of the Public Enemy classic. Although all of the Dreamville signees have a long history of working together, Down Bad is Atlanta rapper Young Nudie's first time working with each of these artists. Recording sessions for Revenge of the Dreamers 3 took place January 6th through 16th with over 160 invitations sent out. In late February, J. Cole revealed his plans to release the album in April, but it was postponed in the post-production phase. The project will arrive roughly 3.5 years after Revenge of the Dreamers 2, which only featured the artist under the Dreamville imprint at the time. Listen to the song above and read all the lyrics to Dreamville Records Down Bad on Genius now. And this was, of course, from Genius.com. By the way, Genius.com is the one who provided this particular article. Okay. So props to J. Cole, folks. Big props to J. Cole. Big props to Kendrick Lamar. Big props. Don't stop. Keep it going. I think it would be an absolute honor to interview J. Cole, to really get to know who this guy is as a lyricist. You know, hearing Middle Child, a lot of people don't understand that because they're not in the age range that we're in right now. You know, they don't understand what it's like to grow up listening to the Public Enemies, grow up listening to the Rakims, the KRS-Ones, grow up listening to the Nas, the Das Effects, the Jay-Z's, the AZ's, what I'm saying? It's just listening. All of those guys, Pastor Troy, Outkast, Killer Mike, Goody Mob, just on and on and on and on and on. Just people I grew up listening to as a teenager, coming up. And so I became a journalist because I was so interested in talking with those people and knowing who those people were about. Music was always a love. It was always a love, a hobby. It's something that I grew up with. That grew up with me. Hip hop was always something that's going to be a part of me. I feel like, I can write. I feel like, I can do a little freestyling, a little, whatever. It's going to be some fun things happening with that. I'm hoping I'm dropping enough clues for you guys to know what's probably going to be happening with the show pretty soon. But at any rate, getting about to the end of it, folks. And plus, I got to make a very important run. You guys have been fun. I got to keep the energy going, folks. This Creative Studios, this Delinquent Studios is going to be this place where I'm going to it's going to be fun. I'm going to start getting into things, more writing of things, production of things, to give you the inside view on this channel as I try to do scripts, try to do funny shit skits and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Just try to expand more of what I'm doing. It just expand more of the idea of Mainframe Media, Mainframe Magazine, expand more of what that idea was when I created that LLC. But like I said, don't get caught up on that. That's more of an LLC. That's more of a thing that it's like, that's the baby. When you created this thing, it was like, it's a cute little thing. Like, her name, look, Grandma Incorporated, or Lula May Incorporated. That was the woman I knew was my grandmother for a long time. That was on my sister's father's side. So that was like, so if I would name the company Lula May Incorporated as an honor to her, it's not to say that everything is going to be Lula May, but it's like that LLC that houses everything, that we may have done something that started out something that may have been like Lula May cookies. And then now we're going to be doing homebread, blah, 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 under, is a subsidy under Lula, under Lula May Industries, just like that. So in the same vein of that, Mainframe Magazine LLC was a startup because I wanted to do Mainframe Magazine. I stubbornly wanted to do a print magazine. I thought I could do it because, as I showed you before, for those of you may not have noticed, may not have noticed, I did a print magazine under a very, very small scale. Exclusive magazine. We did that together. Yeah, there were a few people working on that, but a couple more than what would have been working on the situation now. But no matter. Point is, I thought I could do it. Was willing to make the transition, but it's a start. So now the original brainchild will be coming back, still a toddler at this point. We're not Mainframe Magazine as a whole is not even a teenager yet. We reached the teenage. It becomes when it comes 13 years old. That will be in another 7. Excuse me. Do apologize because officially, nope, we're right. Officially, Mainframe Magazine became an LLC, a created business in 2013. So right now, officially, Mainframe Magazine is 6 years old. 7 years later, which would be, which would be 2020, 2026. That's when Mainframe Magazine would be a teenager. So by the time we reach our teen years and start figuring out what the hell's going on, let's go ahead and start really kicking up some dust. Start learning some things, start getting our legs under us and walking. We've been walking for a little bit, toddlers. Now it's time to start growing. Now it's time to start learning things and gaining things and moving forward, growing up a little bit. So we'll do that. It's fun doing this podcast. You can just speak about whatever, man. But again, definitely props up to J. Cole and what he's doing with Dreamville. Liked his documentary that he did on HBO. It's definitely very interesting. It's very interesting. He can do a lot of production himself. Just a lot going on with that, folks. It's not all hip hop again. Hip hop and rap, 2 different genres. Please understand, 2 different genres. If we don't get together and understand that, it'll become a problem. It'll become a serious, serious problem. Because we'll keep blurring the lines and we will never get a true understanding. But I do thank you very much for your time. We're getting down to the roach aspect of it. I do appreciate you being here. I do appreciate your presence. For those of you who will take the time to actually watch the video, I appreciate you taking the time to check it out. Appreciate you taking the time to understand the freedom and the truth about marijuana. We'll get into all of that good stuff and drop little jewels. But of course, we all know, folks, that, again, in case you don't know, marijuana is simply a corporate construct of villainy that makes it seem like it does all of these other bullshit things that it doesn't do. But yet, as things get legalized, quote, people with money are jumping right on, the dispensaries and things like that. They're getting right onto it. You see how it works, folks. They'll play behind the scenes and shun, but then as soon as the money to be made, they're right there to make that money, folks. This is how the corporate world works. They can't be convinced until it benefits them to make changes. So it has to benefit them, not in the way of health factors, but in the way of money factors. But anyway, I thank you very much for your time. Again, folks, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be seeing you soon. Who knows? It's unpredictable. It's all wide open, but we'll be seeing you soon. And I thank you very much for your time. Stay woke. Stay wary.